You've created your product attributes. You've configured some values, set those values for those attributes. Now then, how do you make these product attributes visible on the category page? Well, that is in the configuration for this, and we're going to talk about how to do that now. This video is sponsored by... No, we're not going to go there. Let me just say this. If you are considering a re-platform from Adobe Commerce to any other platform, would you talk with us? And we'll give you some no BS advice to chat through why it is that you're wanting to do this. You know, it could be that Adobe Commerce is the right platform, but unfortunately, the people who have been customizing and building it were not the right people, thus causing you a lot of grief and headaches. Let's have a conversation, because it could be we can turn your house of cards into a fortress. Come into, again, Stores, Attributes, Product, and select your attribute that you'd like to work with. And then we come over here into Storefront Properties, and we have a number of options here. Now, if you haven't fooled around with these options before, they might seem a little bit difficult to understand. I'm going to break this down here to be very easy to understand. So let's walk through these one by one here. Use and search, yes or no. So if this attribute is set to be used in search, it will now become eligible for, if you were to type in the color red into the search box, this will then drive whether the products that have this attribute color red are displayed. For example, in this case of a manufacturer, if somebody searched for DeWalt in the search box, products that have this manufacturer set to be DeWalt will be visible in search. We can also set the search weight. 10 is the most important. So, for example, maybe the product name would be maybe 8 or 9. Generally, I don't like to use 1 or 10 in case there is some really critical attribute that I need to trump everything else. So but normally I would just use a range from 2 to 9. Usually works pretty well. So, for example, maybe a manufacturer, that's pretty important, but I don't know, maybe we'd say 6 or 7. So basically, if a product that has a match that has it in the name, so if it was we put actual DeWalt in the title of this product, then as a 9 search weight, so if we had the product name as 9, that would be ranked above ones that are maybe with the manufacturer of DeWalt, which would be this value of 6. So the search weight higher has a higher ranking in this list. Visible and advanced search, basically this allows you to, there is an advanced search which allows you to search by actual attributes. Comparable on Storefront, we've talked about there's the ability to compare products on the front end. I recommend leaving this set to yes, especially hopefully, well, if you have compare use on the front end that's available. I see this disabled for most merchants simply because they don't have enough attributes in the system to really make it worth it for a customer or usable for a customer here. Use and layered navigation. This is very important. So notice the note here, as I talked about, we have yes, no, drop down, multi-select, and price. So as I mentioned earlier, yes, no does not work in configurable, but these predefined values do work in layered navigation. Layered navigation is what you see on this sidebar right here. So filterable with or without results. This defines whether we say how many this is with results. I don't know if we have an option without results here. Basically, if it says without results, there is these values disappear. So it can be helpful to tell people exactly how many are available within this given set here. Then we have used in search results layered navigation. So if we did a search for this specific manufacturer, will the manufacturer option show up here on the sidebar? Again, category and search are very similar. Category is products that you define or the system defines. Search is the ones that Magento determines are a good match for this customer. So past that, the user interface is almost identical. Dropping down here, we're going to call this out later, but while we're here talking about attribute options, I want to call this out now. Used for promo rule conditions. If you went to use this when creating a catalog price rule or cart price rule, basically saying, hey, all DeWalt products are going to be 10% off, you would then set this used for promo rule condition set to be yes. I don't see a reason why you wouldn't just leave this to be yes. Visible on catalog products pages on Storefront. We'll talk about this here in a second. But then used in product listing. You're going to used on product listing. This one is one that you will generally want to leave no, and then let your developer switch this to be yes if necessary. What this is, and it says it depends on the design theme. It 100% does. So by switching this to yes, you will notice nothing in a change in this product listing. Nothing will change whatsoever. Your developer now, though, has access to this value. So for example, if we want to put a manufacturer title on the product listing, we would go in here and set this to be yes, and then your developer would come through, would make a change to the templates so that it would then display the Walter, the manufacturer name here in this listing. So again, we pretty much want to leave this always to be no, because it does, the more attributes you have, the more overhead it does create when generating this list of from the database. Also, if you want this attribute to be sortable, so if you want to sort by this attribute, set this to be yes. Again, pretty much this is going to be no, except for the main options here, which product name, position, and price are generally probably the most relevant options to have here. That is how to expose attributes to a category.